Hi everybody, I'm here reporting on yesterday's 2-0 defeat at Ibrox by St Mirren. And if I thought the Queen's Park defeat was bad, and it was the worst one in our history, the performance in yesterday's game was even worse. I know, hard to imagine. Sometimes I start with stats, so I'll start with this one. Can't remember this, even this season, this dreadful season. St Mirren had 6 shots on target and Rangers had 3. 3 shots on target in, 100 minutes as it turned out. That's how bad we were. When we can't get, 20 odd shots on target in a home game against anybody. I mean, we probably had more shots on target against likes of Man U and Spurs and Leon than we did against St Mirren yesterday. So that's just how bad it was. I don't want to go through it all. It's just too traumatic to even think about it. St Mirren deserved their victory as usual, as we expected. They were well organised, they knew what they were doing, every man knew what his task was, they got stuck in, they bullied us, they were determined, they even went forward with some pace at times, although mainly it was a punt up the other end to hopefully to get us into trouble, and it worked twice, and that's all it needed, twice to score 2 goals. So they did everything right. They fought to the bitter end. They exhausted themselves, whereas we did the opposite, mentally and physically weak. No energy, no intensity, the usual slow pace, pass, but getting nowhere. Hardly made a chance. As I say, only 3 shots on target. And that's after Clement picked the best team available yesterday. It's not like we were riddled with injuries, and yet it still was nowhere near the standard it should be. The only guy I would give pass marks to was Insiala. I felt sorry for him. He gets the blame for the 2 goals, but in fact, I thought he was fouled twice, so we'll come back to that in a minute. So anyhow, started well enough. We were obviously the better team in the first half. That's not saying much. We weren't playing well, but we were better than St Mirren. Their only chance came from a Jack Butland pass. You don't see that very often, do you? Where the goalkeeper sets up a goal chance for the opposition. So he got a pass back. He stood with the ball at his feet. Nobody near him, nobody pressing him. He looked up and he passed it straight to the St Mirren guy just inside the 18-yard box. He had a shot, did a good save, I'll give him that. The rebound went to a different St Mirren player, he had a shot, and Butland had to tip it over the bar. So 2 decent saves, but all from his own making because of an unbelievably bad attempt at a pass when he shouldn't have been doing it. So that summed up the first half maybe. Just before half time, Igaman was sent off. Yes, and the crowd were outraged, to say the least. He went and he was in possession of the ball, got a wee bit away from him. He slid in to keep possession. The guy went up in the air as if he was heading for the moon, and he was barely touched. And Father Clancy couldn't wait to get the red card out. They had the card out and waving it before the guy actually hit the deck. That's how bad it was. Helped, of course, by 3 or 4 St Mirren players rushing towards him, urging him to get the red card out. But he got it out so quickly, they didn't need to try and harass him. He'd already made up his mind. And then, thankfully, taken to VAR. He looks at VAR for a while, and I think what was probably going through his mind was how his fellow Celtic fan Nick Walsh got into trouble by looking at VAR when he sent Diomande off and sticking to his original wrong decision. He didn't get enough flack for that, in my opinion. So there's no way Clancy's going to take that chance. So he overturned his own decision. It was the right decision. It wasn't I don't think it was even a yellow card, never mind a red. So at least the half ended on a less precarious situation. We still had 11 men. But then second half, all went downhill, especially after they scored the first goal. But St Mirren had got more and more confident as the first half had gone on, without actually creating anything, but they had looked better and quite reassured and confident in themselves. So that just continued, and it got worse for us. It's one of these games where things went from bad to worse. And when the first goal came, it was just a high ball up the middle. The St Mirren guy and Proper went up for the header. Tavernier as well, he was at the side of Proper. Why he was there, I do not know. He should be covering behind in case the headers won by the St Mirren guy. All he did was put Proper off, so the St Mirren guy flicked on with his head. Didn't matter, we thought, because Insiala was between the ball, running towards his own goal, and the St Mirren attacker, and there he goes. Oh, he's been fouled. So when it goes in the net, I'm not worried. It was a foul. Clancy gives a foul. Everything's fine. Oh, VAR intervenes. Clancy goes to the monitor and overturns his own decision yet again and awards the goal. And at the time, I thought he was fouled from behind. I've seen it on TV since then, and I've watched it I don't know how many times, and I still think he was probably fouled. But then he clicks his own feet when he has been clicked, I think, from behind. So I would still say it was a foul when you go down. You don't go down like that just normally. So I would have said he was unlucky there, but the goal stood. Second goal was similar, another high ball. This time Insala again runs onto it. He's between the ball and Alessandra behind him. And when you see it, I thought this was a foul as well. As soon as I saw it, I thought he pushed him in the back. And I'm 100 yards away, and I could see it. And he pushed him in the back. I've seen it on TV, and with his elbow, he gives him a nudge in the back, just enough so that he can't head the ball away as he was trying to do, and it goes right into Osanya's path and just finishes it really nicely. So as far as I'm concerned, that should have been a VAR and a foul. I mean, you can't nudge somebody in the back, which ends up with the ball coming to you instead of the guy you've just nudged heading it away. So unlucky in Seattle. He was the only guy I would give pass marks to. The rest were absolutely terrible. Some were so bad they were on the verge of being booed. In fact, a few fans did boo the likes of Tavernier with his aimless punts into the middle, his overhit crosses, his sloppy passing, being out of possession, missing tackles, all the usual stuff. That guy should not be in the team, never mind the captain. He's not going to stir the other players to a comeback when you're up against it, and that's what happened yesterday. Absolutely terrible. What else can I say? It should be the end of the manager. We know it's not. They're going to hang on to him till the end of the season, or at least till the end of the Europa campaign, which will be probably the middle of March once we play Fenerbahce. So the fans have had it with them. They've had it with this team. Too many of the players are weak, cowardly, mentally weak. They can't compete with teams like St Mirren and Motherwell and Hibs. These are teams that when they get a chance to qualify for Europe can't even get by teams from the Faroe Isles or Lithuania, teams, countries like that, and yet we can't beat them. But a team from the Faroe Isles will knock out Motherwell or whoever. So that just sums it up. We can't cope, too many of them, with the style of Scottish football where they get stuck in, they're in your face. Of course, the referees tend to let them away with fouls. I mean, Raskin was fouled 4 times, quite badly, I think, in the first 20 minutes. And he was showing the referee, Clancy, well, look, there's where he kicked me. Or look, I've hurt my this or that. Nothing happened. Of course, nothing's going to happen. The 2 yellow cards, I think, were for professional fouls where we were running away from a guy and he just pulled us back. So obvious yellow cards. But any tackles that are looked at as to be a bit harsh, he just gives you the foul and ignores it, making it all the worse that he jumped in with his red card as soon as Egerman slid in there and the guy went up in the air of his own accord. By the way, it wasn't the tackle that put him up in the air. He did that obviously just to gain an advantage, and it nearly worked. So thanks for VAR in that case at least. But a dreadful performance, even made worse by the fact that Celtic lost yesterday. I don't know where we go from here. The only guy we can bring in that's going to make any difference is Suter, so we don't know how long he's going to be out injured. But I would even go with Insiala and Fernandez as the central defenders if Suter's not fit, because Proper's too weak. Balogun's always injured anyhow, so let's give the 2 young guys a chance together. The games don't matter now, so surely they can cope with the dross of the Scottish League. But on the other hand, maybe not. But we've got to find out. But I would start playing Fernandez. Why bring a guy in and loan like that if you're not going to play him even every other game, even easier games in inverted commas? Because right now, hardly any games are easy for this woeful Rangers team. I'll be back at Ibrox next Saturday when we play yet another team of jobbers, Motherwell, and who knows, it could be the same result yet again.